How you doing, everyone, and welcome back to the Amscast. Here is show 4, and for a change, we're going to deviate away from the Amstrad for a bit. Well, we will talk about the Amstrad, of course, with my very, very special guest, a long-term YouTuber. He's been YouTubing since 2009, would you believe? He's a veteran. He is a big proponent of the ZX Spectrum, and he's also a great inspiration for me and my channel and the way I got started. So, Lawnboyspost1975, welcome to the Amscast, sir.
Thank you very much for having me on, sir. Thank you very much. Can I be a complete dickhead right at the start?
Of course you can.
It's 2011.
Oh, but your profile on your YouTube channel says 2009, so...
I know. I set... I wonder how many people did this. I hope someone else did it than me. Oh, I don't mean to be a dick, by the way. I set up a YouTube account in 2009, and I realized that you couldn't comment unless you had an actual account. And I don't mean I wanted to type on people and just be like, oh my God, I hate you, etc., etc., etc. But I wanted to have a valid voice. And so I set up an account and I set it up. This might answer a subsequent question. Sorry if I ruin your question.
No, not at all.
Like, what name do I have? Like, because everything was taken. Everything I used, like email and stuff like that, was taken up. So I just went, nickname, Lawnboyspost1975. And then I tried it and they went, no, you can't have it. And I went, I hate saying this out loud because it's clear from my face, but I went 1975, and it went boom, and so I got it, and then I did nothing with that account but leave comments until 2011, which is when I decided to start a channel. I completely ruined the entire front section of your questions. I so apologize, sir, but
You preempted my questions. I was going to ask
so many people say, like, Dave, you've been on it since 2009. I went, no, I haven't. No,
I was actually going to ask you about your
no,
name.
Anyway, no, do it anyway. It'd be good.
So, what about your name then, Lawnboyspost1975? Where does that come from, Dave?
Well, I can actually give you a true story on that.
Excellent.
Which doesn't ruin what I just said.
Excellent. Let's go for it.
True story, right? We're not PG-13 or anything like that, are we?
No, you carry on.
Yeah, I'm not saying like I bash prostitutes or anything like that, but right. When I was at college, which was like the mid-90s, which I would like to add was an amazing time for games, like PlayStation, Saturn.
It was. It was.
PC accelerator cards. My mates, my roommate at the time. Well, not even my roommate. I wasn't in college. I was like sharing a house with someone, and he was like, he had a really archaic P90, Pentium P90 in his attic, and he goes like, "There's this new thing called Hotmail. Would you like email?" And I went, "What's that?" And he goes, "Seriously, when I say like, what's that?" Like a retard, like no, true story. What's that? He goes like, "It's like electronic mail. It's like instant. Like you don't have to wait for like the mailman and stuff like that." And first of all, slight departure, true story. I remember at school, in computer class, my computer teacher said, this is like 1989. We had like a really crap network of like 3x6s or something. He said like, there's this new thing coming along, children, and it's called email, but I wouldn't get used to it because it's not going anywhere. Yeah, fuck you, Mr. Miller. That caught you with your pants down, didn't it? So, many years later, showing a rented house with my mate Andy, and we at like 1996, and he goes like, Dave, like email. So I set up an email address based on my college nickname, Lawnboyspost. I still have it. If you want to, should I say this out loud? Am I going to get a massive amount of abuse? If you want to send me a message, it was lawnboyspost@hotmail.com.
Well, if that's still your email, then you might get a bit of shilling in the post. But
yeah. What the fuck? Dude, come on, it's impressive. I've had it since 1996.
It is. So, that nickname you had in college, Lawnboy.
Yeah, Yeah, but this is where I asked if we were PG-13, because the reason I had the nickname at college was stuff. You know what I mean?
You don't want to share?
All right. So
You don't
two
have to.
sides of the coin, right? All right, I'm fucking admit I was a massive pothead in college. But the other side of the coin was I used to go on holiday and stay with my mates who emigrated from England to Canada. Right. And that's what you know, sir, my love of Canada comes from.
Yes.
And they had a tractor mower called a Lawnboy.
Gotcha.
And I bought a picture back as a joke. And I had a jacket. I found a jacket in a Goodwill and wore it back. And wore it at college a couple of days. And so one of my mates said, like, Jesus Christ, Dave, you fucking hoover up weed like a Lawnboy. And it got stuck as a nickname.
So it's got past misadventure connections then.
Yeah.
Essentially.
It's not relevant. It's not relevant anymore now as it is to like.
Yeah.
My
but it
channel
sticks, doesn't it? It
yeah.
sticks.
But yeah, I became Lawnboy, and I meet people who I've not met in years from school. Or, sorry, not school. High school. Not high school. Sorry, college and university, and I just go like, "Hey, look, it's Lawnboy."
Yeah.
And so yeah, it just became a name, and I tried to create an email address, and Lawnboy's post was taken. Really annoyed. So I just did what everyone did, you know, back in the day. Just went, I'll just type my birth date in the end, Lawnboyspost1975, bing, and got it.
Yeah.
So there's no mystery behind my channel name. In fact, you could argue it's pretty poor in pants. Really.
Yeah, but the thing is, what you've done though, you started in 2011. You stuck with the name, and it's now become a synonymous sort of name for your channel. So.
Yeah. Now, kids. Don't do weed.
No.
Even though in the rest of the world it's legal. But not here. But,
let's not talk about that. Let's not get into that.
But no, like you say, it became synonymous with it. It just stuck, and and it's really funny. Obviously, this is telling a funny story. This is way before lockdown. We're talking like February. I went to a pub with my dad, and I met someone from school, and they just shouted out like, "It's Lawnboy!" Which is quite embarrassing across the room, by the way.
Sounded like his best Harry Enfield impression there as well.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
So,
but but it stuck. It just and you know what? There's worse names to have.
There is. So you haven't done the trait of changing your channel name. So.
Yeah, that's something a lot of people do, and do you know what? No. I mean, I like my channel name.
Yeah.
But I could never change it. Not for other people, but just because, I don't think it's fair to the audience, to be fair.
Yeah. No, we'll discuss your channel's intricacies, actually, because it's very unique, your channel, I think, in a lot of ways. And you can explain to me why it is that way. But let's start at the beginning. So I introduced you as a proponent for the ZX Spectrum.
Greatest machine in the history of the world.
Yeah. So was that the first computer you had as a boy, or? Not
entirely as such, but you could argue the first computer I had was not actually a real computer. I had a binatone.
Oh, a Pong machine.
Yeah, I had a Pong machine.
That doesn't count.
And I actually still have, I don't have the original one. I found one in the charity shop, and I had to spend a great amount of money to reconvert it to work on a modern TV. But
yes.
I got it, and then it reminded me that it's still not the first system I had before my beloved ZX Spectrum, because after that, I mean, it's not stuff I own, but it's the trajectory of my computer history, if that makes sense, or lineage. Our next door neighbor lent us, our family, a 2600.
Yeah.
And we were absolutely blown away, like loved it. I mean, never owned one, do now, but...
Was that an original Woody, was it?
Yeah, proper Woody.
The heavy sixer.
I really wonder to this day, because we know they wouldn't, but I wonder if I could meet those people again and just say, please tell me you didn't sell it.
You never know.
Like, yeah. You don't, because people love stuff like this and attached to their family. No, but we played that. And after the binatone, And then before we got the Spectrum, the government in this country did this massive drive to drive a computer into every school in the country, and it was the BBC Micro B.
Yes, the Micro, yes.
And I remember playing it at school one day. I was going to do a response to your last 4-day. Hey, actually, you can abbreviate that.
Friday Foursome.
I think you should call it 4-day. But then I kind of realized that so many of those answers would be in this video, if that makes sense, or this stream.
No, you can do that if you fancy. Of course you can. Do what you want.
You know what, bollocks, I'll do a response after this.
Brilliant.
It was amazing. It blew my mind. And we came home from school one day, and we're going on to my dad because your Friday foursome was like surprises.
Yes.
And we came out and we just went, oh my God, we played the BBC Micro B, and we played educational games. They were all rubbish. They were all tat and crap and bollocks and stuff like that. But my dad took it in and said, because this is 1982, and he found a second-hand ZX Spectrum 48K, and his plan was to educate us. And they're like, oh, they saw that in school. It's educational. Yeah. They can program. And he brought it home. And I remember he brought it home one day, and we all just went, fucking hell, games.
That's it.
Yeah, but that was the surprise. He never told us anything. He brought it home, and he sat there for a couple of days with us, reading the manual, Sinclair User Horizons, the manual and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Loading the game tape. Horizons also was the game tape. And we just were like, oh, it's brilliant, Dad, it's brilliant. I'm sure he was thinking, I'm going to make them programmers. I'm going to retire a rich man. And then we just went, holy shit, you can play games on this.
Yeah. That's right. And that's primarily, of course, what the Spectrum was famed for back in the early days.
And that's why Sir Clive was really upset.
Yeah, yeah. Because it was Sugar later that did the multi-machine, the business machine kind of thing with games. So
so we got it, and it was a really big surprise. I've just ruined my video for you, but he bought it back, and it was no excuse. There was no reason other than from just also, as a dad, not just I want you to make me famous or rich or anything like that, but just here you go, kids. You talked about this thing at school. My dad wasn't a rich man, but he knew that computers were on the cusp and stuff like that, and what
good
kids
foresight.
wanted. And so he thought, again, poorly, to quote Indiana Jones, he chose poorly. He thought we would do something with it, and we did. We beat Daily Thompson Decathlon.
Yes, broke a few joysticks.
Yeah, but that was a big surprise for us. So
what year was that?
That literally was 1982, but I don't know how we did it. He got a second-hand one.
Ah, it was new then.
Yeah. So he told me since later years, it was £175 in 1982, but he got one for £125, which may not sound like that much of a difference, but 92 with inflation, that was a big chunk.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a combination essentially of the BBC Micro and the Spectrum that was your pathway into gaming.
Yeah, it just blew my head off. And then obviously the Spectrum became this massive elongated journey of greatness. Hey, you would understand, sir, no offence, because you were an Amstrad.
No.
That was a bad joke, I apologise.
I can appreciate the Spectrum for what it is. I can also appreciate that, the creator of my machine, kept Spectrum plodding along.
Yeah, sucked us up years later.
Yes,
see,
exactly.
That was a bad joke when I say that, but
made the improvements.
Well, we'll get a little bit later on to it. Why the one game I was so jealous of on Amstrad, which thanks to your very kind self, I have since played. But anyway, carry on, sir.
So you obviously originally had the 48K original with the rubber keys.
Yeah, the rubber mat.
So did you keep that model all the time, or did you progress onto the Amstrad versions? Did you go onto the toast rack or the plus 2?
We had the 48K rubber mat, and then because to people outside who don't know this, you could either upgrade and just buy flat out the new machine, or if you were savvy, you could upgrade it yourself. We were savvy. And when I say we were savvy, my dad was. So he bought the 48K Plus. Do you remember that?
No, I don't actually.
48K Plus was the one that looked like the toast rack, but was shortened.
So that was the toast rack one, sorry.
Yeah, but before the toast rack.
Before the toast rack.
And what you did was you basically take it apart and put the membrane and other components from your 48K rubber mat in it, and he did that.
Right.
And then he bought us an Opus disk drive, which was amazing, which was this big fat peripheral, third-party peripheral you stuck in the back, where you could stick discs in it. Unfortunately, no offense, Dad, I love you, but you backed the wrong horse, because those discs weren't supported by anyone, were they? But,
was that the 5 1/4 discs?
Yeah.
The big floppy discs.
Yeah. But we did get some use out of it, because it had a Kempson joystick port on the side, so we could use it at least for a Kempson joystick.
And that's something that always confused me with the Spectrum, was the joystick ports, the cursor port, the
Kempson
because
port. See, that's something that's funny when you say that. I never stopped to think about that, which is you were built from the ground up. We weren't. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, we were spoiled when it came to that, because the Amstrad came sort of 2 years later. They figured out one joystick port, one format for the joystick, and not the multiple different things that the Spectrum had. It was kind of simplified. Thing is, though, when they had to make joysticks, they had to make a second plug for the Spectrum.
Yeah. There's also one thing you say that, which when you say like one port for the joystick that you figured out. When he bought it, I'd made it an Amstrad machine. What he did was, little sneaky bastard, he put joystick ports on the side that would only accept Amstrad joysticks.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, did away with the older.
Cheetah got away around that though, didn't they?
Yes.
Do you remember the Cheetah 125?
Oh my word!
Do you remember the Cheetah 125 that had leopard print?
Oh, the 125 Plus had both. Yeah, it had both. The many joysticks had them. They had the second plug that would accept the Spectrum.
Do you know, to be honest though, with how Sir Clive fucked up with his obsession with that
C4.
Anyway, sorry, we're jumping ahead of ourselves.
C5 even.
We'll get to my distaste for how he completely ruined his brand, and I honest to God think that C5 Sinclair could have been still a brand. Was after that Plus Spectrum that my dad built, we found out the back of a magazine. Do you remember this? Kids these days won't understand this. If you were browsing for a new computer, right, there's no internet and stuff like that, you would look through the back of the newspaper in the black and whites. Mm-hmm. And we found a Plus 3, a ZX Spectrum Plus 3, which was an Amstrad machine. Yep. My dad got it and bought it and gave it to us. And then he bought some amazing device called, I don't know if this existed on the Amstrad, called the multi-face.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, the multi-face 2.
Where you would press that one button.
Yep.
Any time during a game, and you could back it up to tape. You could back it up to disc. Yeah. You could hold a game.
Yeah. Primitive save state.
I completely used that device. I abused it, if you will, for the wrong reason. Really pop.
You could use it.
It was there to expand on games. It was there to poke.
Well, poke them, hack them. Yeah.
Yeah. I used it, like you said, as a save state.
Yeah.
I remember buying a bunch of the disc, and Amstrad had the same disc. They were a really weird format, though, weren't they?
Oh, then discs are awesome. But
they were kind of in between what all the other computers had as discs, if you know what I mean. They weren't 5 1/4, and they weren't 3 1/2.
They're a bit Betamaxy in a way, because they're double-sided. For starters, they're 3-inch, but they're sort of like stiff. They've got a hard plastic body.
Yeah. I remember them. They're great. I'm not rubbing them. They were great. They were really chunky. I bought a bunch of them from Boots, and my dad
really robust.
said, "What are you buying those for?" Programming? Of course, Dad. Of course.
Yeah, no, them discs, right? a really robust discs. They've got more longevity in them than the traditional sort of like the traditional Amiga PC discs that have long since gone, and then the original floppy discs and stuff. They're kind of halfway between. I like to describe them like this. They're kind of halfway between a floppy disk and like the old. You remember the old giant memory cards you used to get?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I know exactly what it's saying.
Yeah, so it's like a halfway between a sort of cartridge kind of
and
thing.
And didn't it have that switch? Do you remember the switch at the top to write protect them?
There was no, that was a lock. Yeah, that was the write protect switch. Yeah, that's right. And a lot of people didn't understand. A lot of people didn't understand that they were double sided. You see, you turn them over and there'd be different code on one side. But also, when you look at it at the front, you think, oh, it hasn't got anything to protect the disc. But what it has got, the protection sleeve is actually inside the case, not on the outside of the case. You see?
Yes.
There you go.
Well, I bought a bunch of them, and my dad was like, "Oh, it's got a program." I used every single one of those discs just to save slot on my games.
Well, what games did you use them on then? What were your go-to Spectrum games then back in the day?
Jetpack, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Which is technically a 16K game. That was fantastic. All the Ultimate Player games were fantastic. Stuff like Fairlight. I love the isometric stuff. You know, outside of Ultimate Player the game, like before, isometric like Save War, Take Attack, stuff like that. Underworld, Alienate.
Yeah. Batman?
I love them all. Pac-Man?
Batman.
Batman. Oh, you mean, proper Batman. Like,
the original.
Who's the name? Yeah, I'm having a brain fart for the bloke who wrote it. Was it Rittman? Was it Rittman?
Yes, John Whiteman.
Yeah. That was fantastic. And also, the bloke who did the, sadly passed away, the cover art for some of these Spectrum games, Commodore games, Amstrad games.
Oh yes, his name escapes me as well. Also, he did Head Over Heels as well.
Head Over Heels was fantastic.
Yeah.
I love those isometric games. It's funny, I did a gameplay one of them probably a year ago, and someone put up my comment section just saying like, so I said in the title, like a 3D game, and just went, that's not a 3D game.
Early was.
Yeah, and I went, how old are you? 14. Yeah. Ignoring that's a 3D game, sir. You have no idea. The isometrics and the mathematics they involved in doing that, created by Ultimate, were like through the roof.
And there were some like really good arcade games that use the isometric sort of trope as well, like Escape from the Planet of Robot Monsters and stuff.
Yes. But it was 3D because they had maths calculating the crap in the background.
Mm-hmm.
It may not look like 3D. Personally, I think isometric is 3D, but there's a chunk on a Spectrum, a 48K machine like a Spectrum, 64K machine like Amstrad and Commodore. Commodore couldn't do with them though, could they? Up yours, Commodore. But they couldn't though. They can now, but there was a whole chunk of maths involved in the background. And, like, people look at it, comes back to what I said to this kid who said, that's not 3D. It was. It really was.
Yeah, a lot of groundbreaking stuff was done with the isometric stuff. It's interesting because you hear people talking about like some of the classic games on the Spectrum and the Amstrad and stuff. A lot of the time, they don't talk about the isometric games, and they were very groundbreaking in the early days.
And also, we had to quickly chime in, which is Ultimate Play the game were like absolute boss across all formats. They were, they're rare now, aren't they? Yeah. I don't mean rare as you can't find them. I mean they're rare software.
The brand,
they were the stuff of gods. And also in 1984, they were the first game company to start charging £9.95 for a game in 1984, which I believe equates to now, with inflation, to £27.
We paid those prices though, didn't we?
And we did. And then we ripped them off by taping them.
It's funny though, because a lot of the budget stuff we used to get, some of the budget stuff was actually better than the full price stuff, of course.
Dizzy games. I hope you get to those.
Well, I was going to mention some of the more famous, popular Spectrum games, like the Jet Set Willies.
Oh, quickly, sorry to interject, and I'll give you a little Amstrad throwback. When you said games you love to play, I loved Renegade on the ZX Spectrum.
Oh no,
and
no.
The bloke's name
Yeah.
who did the artwork was Bob Wakelin.
Bob Wakeman, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Rest his soul.
Well, going
Renegade,
back to...
hang on, you're not. I'm going to salute you, sir, on this one. Renegade on the Spectrum was fantastic. On the Commodore, it's rubbish. It's based on Takashi Naohu. I can't pronounce it. Like a Tato game, but it got ported, got changed into Renegade, ported to the all the usual suspects, and the Spectrum version was absolutely fantastic. Now, one day at school, do you remember this? When you used to go around your mate's house for tea?
Yeah.
My mate Sam
showed
me Renegade on the Amstrad.
It's good, isn't it?
And I was like, I fucking hate you.
It's good. And
I've since played it on the machine you sent me, sir.
Mm. Oh, yeah, because I sent you a copy of Renegade as well, didn't I?
Yeah. And
it's good.
I'm saving it for doing a big Spectrum comparison Amstrad video. That's why you've not seen it. But,
I definitely want to see that.
Oh my god, it's phenomenal.
So
Renegade on the Amstrad is absolutely phenomenal.
It is good. I must admit, I will say that the Renegade on the Spectrum, I think, is amazing as well, though.
Especially when it goes.
I do think that they're both very, very good versions. They're in the same trope where the argument is between what's better, the Amstrad version or the Spectrum version. You can argue games like Chase HQ are in that segment as well.
Yeah, but also there's a kind of handshake in there. I think you know where I'm going with this. That Amstrad got ported down or ported up or poorly ported versions of the Spectrum games when they could have done so. And I will openly admit this, when they could have done so much better. Yeah. But there is a clear kind of a cross-combined handshake between the Spectrum and the Amstrad. And I always like that. I always felt the Amstrad and the Spectrum were brothers, but that's just me.
Yeah, but well, the thing is, because the Spectrum one would have been coded first, because the Spectrum was obviously a more popular machine at the time. The software houses would code the Spectrum version, and then the code would literally be passed to another developer to say, "I'll quickly port that over to the Amstrad."
No, I just can't be asked. Click, 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 click.
And it would take what? They'd be given less than a month to do it.
There's something you sent me about 5 years ago. People, this is how long myself and Chris have been friends. There's something you sent me. I think you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
5 years ago, and then a few years later I asked you to send it to me again because I destroyed a computer, and he knows what this is about for us time this podcast and me destroying computers.
Carry on, please carry on.
Right, let me start at the beginning. Spectrum version of R-Type is quite frankly the best 8-bit home micro port outside of the Master System.
I have to agree with that. It's a wonderful piece of work.
The Amstrad one's shite because it's ported, like we just talked. May
I just add a caveat to that? I think it's a bit unfair to call it shite because it is based off the Spectrum version. The problem with it is it's not adapted to the Amstrad strengths. But
can I have a caveat to that?
Now, hang on, I haven't finished yet. Well, you can, but hang on. But literally the guy had like 3 or 4 weeks. Keith Goodyear did the port, and it took him he was given a few weeks to do that. Now, considering that he only had a few weeks to do that, I think it weren't too bad an effort.
No, it wasn't. That's my caveat. Caveat to that is a few years ago, probably 7 years ago, we were talking in Facebook chat and stuff like that, and you mentioned that some bloke had rewritten R-Type on the Amstrad from the ground up.
Easter egg, yeah.
Yeah, and went, go on, because he's Chase HQ. I don't mean that I pooch screwed any of your later questions, but Chase HQ is my favourite Zero Spectrum game of all time. R-Type is second. But you told me about, and I remember this, you said, there's a guy who's written R-Type from the ground up backwards for, like, Amstrad. I went, back then, I went, but I don't have an Amstrad. He went, Can send you a link for. Do you remember this? Can send you a link for
emulator.
Emulator.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send you a link for it. And I played it, and I played it on keys, not keyboard. I couldn't get my Xbox pad to work on my computer, and I played it. I think I told you. I think I walked away and just went, "Holy shit!" I think that might be better than the Master System version.
It's very good, isn't it? It's so good.
And I might need you to send me the link again.
Oh, I can do that. No worries.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So that is the R-Type remake, 2012 that came out, done by Easter Egg, 128k only version. Fantastic effort. It's basically what they should have done back in the day. And it would have.
Like you said, they were a post for time. It's not their fault.
No, of course not. Of course, no. I'm not saying what they should have done, but their electronic dreams, not electronic arts, and he said there. No, electric dreams just didn't give enough time for the proper port in 88 or 89 when it was.
But you have to give me due as a Spectrum owner. The first time I saw that.
No. There were some.
The first time I saw that, I got it on side. I got it.
Yeah, but there was a problem with the Spectrum version, though, wasn't there? A famous problem.
Loading times?
No, you could never play the last level. You remember?
Oh, really? You say that? Now, I cheated when I did this. I did a gameplay in its entirety, and I poked it and put...
Oh, yeah, you can get the fixed ROM. Yeah. But on the original...
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. It probably had the fixed ROM, yeah. No, so they didn't fix...
Yeah,
so what happened with the last level?
Yeah, the original release had a mastering error on the release copies. This is in actually Bob Pape's book. Bob Pape wrote a book about R-Type, about the development of R-Type, and he actually says in the book this happened as a mastering error, but for some reason that when you get to level 8, it would just reload level 7.
Well, that proves how hard the game was, doesn't it? Because I never got there as a kid. I only completed it as an adult, cheating.
Exactly. Level 8's ridiculously hard anyway, so... Yeah.
Any version of that game's ridiculously hard. I always like to say to people, when people say, like, I'm a fucking die-hard gamer, like, what generation? Xbox? Yeah, well, do you know what? Go and play R-Type. Main.
On the
Let's see
arcade.
how fucking big your balls are.
Were you into the arcades at that point? Did you experience the arcades around Bristol or anything, or Canada?
Oh, dude. I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to take up the rest of your talk time. My dad, we couldn't afford to go on holiday to America. We did eventually, but because he found his brother, so he like saved the money to take us over there. Because he didn't know his brother was still alive, but that's a story for another time. He always believed in like taking us for holidays and stuff, and he took us to the seasides. And he took us to Minehead and Westwood Ho. And if anyone out there actually watches my YouTube channel, you'll hear me constantly mention Westwood Ho. The most amazing arcade I ever went to in my life was Westwood Ho. It was bolted onto the side of a chip shop. So my parents, on a Friday night when we drove there from, up from Bristol and drove to Cornwall, we get there and my dad would be like, we don't want to cook food now. They give me money, which I always love because I siphoned a little bit off the side. And be like, go and get us fish and chips. And so we went to this place in Westwood Ho, and I'd order fish and chips, and they'd be like, 15 minutes. And then the money I siphoned off the side, I dropped down into the arcade that was bolted onto the chippy. And right in front of the door was Double Dragon, Commando, Joust, Enduro Racer. It was just that's where my true love of arcade games come from.
Commando was good in the arcade. Commando had a great port as well to both the Amstrad and the Spectrum, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, the Spectrum. Yeah, the Amstrad version is brilliant. Pains me to say this. Don't repeat it.
And so is
better.
So is its spiritual sequel, Akari Warriors, as well.
All right, but yeah, but come on. The Spectrum Spectrum version of Commando and Spectrum version of Ikari Warriors were fantastic.
They were.
And that's one time with the Amstrad and Spectrum And, shared hardware. We can be brothers, sir. We can be brothers.
Yeah, we are.
Left the Commodore in the trail because people say, like, oh, the Commodore this, the Commodore that. And, like, you know what? Right? When it comes to Commando and people say, like, Commodore this, Commodore that, it's so great, it's colorful with this and that. It's like, yeah, but on the Spectrum, the Amstrad, you could leg it up the screen with nothing but people. We hated it as a kid because they killed us, just throwing death down at us. No slowdown whatsoever. Yeah, no, it's great music, in the Spectrum's case. No fucking music, but no slowdown whatsoever.
It didn't have a very good loading screen, though.
Yeah, the Commodore version is...
Yeah.
Anyone out there in Commodore who's about to scream at us?
We're having a look. We are having a go at the Commodore. Well, I'm not having a go at the Commodore. You are, but
I am. I'll perfectly admit it. Yeah, but if you watch my channel now, you will see me revisit all these games.
He does. In fact, you play the Commodore on your channel far more than the Amstrad.
Yeah, and also, thanks to your computer, I'm saving the best one for last, and I think you know what it is.
Ooh.
Begins with cough and ends with Target Renegade.
Target Renegade has got funny music on it, but it's still a great game.
It's the best version. I hate you for saying this, but
really,
I don't hate you. But
I'm going to give the Commodore.
Are you going to say the Spectrum version?
No, I am actually going to give the Commodore its due here. I think the Target Renegade. I think Target Renegade on the Commodore is really, really good. I like it. I don't think it's
looks like wanking a handshake.
Yeah, well, I
disagree, sir.
Oh, come on! I got to give the Commodore a little bit. Being fair here.
Right, Commodore 64. I do love you, and before you, like you said, I give you a chance now. Don't come down to my house and just go, my dad says he's stronger than your dad shit and all that. I do really give, you can answer this, I do really give Commodore a fair crack of the whip. And when I do my Commodore versus Spectrum videos, I will openly admit which is best. When it comes to Target Renegade, it's like your collision detection's done by Stevie White.
Right,
or Wonder, sorry. Like, no, it's rubbish.
One of the things that the Commodore did really well for me was shoot 'em ups. I like the shoot 'em ups on.
I'll give you that one. Are you going to say Iridium?
Iridium and Catechus as well. Really like that.
Can I just quickly say before, so all Commodore kids don't come to my house, kick the door in, and kick the living shit out of me when I'm asleep? I have given you a very fair crack of the whip. I do love you. But you do have to understand that, first of all, my foremost love is Spectrum.
Yes, you do. You do. It's deeply embedded in you. I've tried to convert you over the years, and you do concede now and then.
He's done a fair job. He's done a fair job. He's sold me a bloody computer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I admire your blood. Blood runs Spectrum. It does. I admire that. Your channel. So how did you initially get started? You say 2011. So what was the plan to sort of like get started? Because you started doing a lot of talkie videos first, didn't you? Was that how it started?
It was, and I kind of intend to get back to that because I feel like it somehow betrayed my viewer base, if that makes sense. Because, and if I'm going to say something, it's going to sound like an arrogant prick. I got a decent amount of subs quickly because all I did was talkie videos.
Right, okay.
Vlogs. And I stopped doing them because I just wanted... I believe I haven't stopped doing them because I pride myself on having at least 2 talkie videos a week. But I didn't do them as much and stuff like that, and just kind of... I got suckered in by Steve Benway, if that makes sense. And just when, we can talk about this in a moment, but I don't have great production. I mean, openly admit it. If you want to tell me your production's crap, you're right. You're truly right. But Steve Benway, and I'm saying his production crap. By the way, Steve, I'm not saying your production crap because camera's a lot better than mine. But it was just, I didn't have the production at the time, but it kind of showed me that you didn't have to and you could still do gameplays. And I like doing gameplays because I like playing games, if this makes sense, and just talking rubbish at the same time. And when I say rubbish, I don't mean like just talking absolute bollocks.
Yeah.
Which you could argue is technically what I do, but I've always, no offense to people who do gameplays and don't do commentary. I love commentary when I watch gameplays. I absolutely adore it. I want to know what the person is thinking when they suffer at a game.
Yeah.
So when people tell me I'm crap at games, it's like, yes, I am. But the point being,
it's a way to show the personality of that person, though, through the gameplay. Yeah. That's what you mean. So what's not speaking is the game itself or the quality of the capture. You prefer to sort of like have the thoughts in real time of that person.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm pretty sure I've just pissed off a whole bunch of people and they're just going to tell me you're a fucking wanker. But it's like anything in life, really.
It's up to the individual. It's up to the individual.
I don't mean to go deep, but it's like someone repairing a bike, someone repairing a car. The comedy or the interest in the character of the individual is them fucking up, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's fine. But the thing is, it's your creative mind, it's your channel. You can do whatever you want. If you fancy to do it that way, that's fine. Because essentially, if people don't know what we're talking about, essentially what Lawnboy does is essentially point a camera at a screen and off you go and play and talk. And that's really what you do.
Yeah.
Works for you.
And also, I like to say, I don't think it looks as bad as most people think, but that's just me defending my crap camera. But
it's fine. Because your personality shines through that way, I think.
Yeah. It's about the individual. I mean, do you want someone to tell you, go left here, pick up the coin, go right here, open the door, go left here, pick up the coin, other coin, take the sword, go forward, kill the dragon? I mean, if you like that, good for you. That's not what I like. I enjoy watching, it sounds terrible, I enjoy watching people suffer.
Sadist. Yeah,
but it's funnier though, isn't it?
It can be. But is it a case of the fact that one thing you also do is showcase the hardware in it? So a lot of purists would admire the fact that you do actually showcase the hardware itself, what it really looks like, as opposed to, say, captured emulation or filtered capture through real hardware or something like that.
Yeah, no, I like to think I do.
I think that's one thing it does do.
The other side of the argument is, maybe I'm preaching to people who don't care, and I'm sure when you do your videos with Amstrad, you get somewhat the same degree of feeling in the back of your head, which is you do it and maybe you beat a game and stuff like that, and you see something fantastic, and like when you do sprite scalers, games that should not exist on ZX Spectrum, and you're like yes, and you think they don't get it, do they? Try to show you what we had to live with in 1986, people.
Yeah, and what we still enjoy today, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I don't get this hard-head stance when, and I've had it, and obviously I get it from people a lot younger than me, which is not difficult. And people say like, "Wow, you really called that good, games?" 987. Yeah, you're 12. Fuck off.
Do you have any plans to sort of upscale the channel, or are you happy keeping it as it is? I mean, do you want to get like capture devices or anything like that? I notice you do still regularly do your talk videos, and you've done a bit of the food reviews lately as well. I actually have a capture card that I'm playing around right now, but you both know, as I do, before this video, fucking god awful my computer is. Dave is a bit of a technophobe.
Yeah, I do plan on doing stuff like that, which means I have to record my audio secondary and stuff like that. I do really plan to do that, but
you can still record.
I'm gonna turn it over to a second subsidiary of videos, which is Dave will capture.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
I'm going to do that, but also, I mean, I don't care if people don't like it. Ultimately, this channel's for me. I don't mean that sound like arrogant or anything like that.
No, it's true. It is for you. But you know, I think your natural just sort of personification on camera, the way you can talk off the cuff, the way you just react sort of like with a nice quipper now and then. I think that projects enough on the channel that people, you do have a following on the channel. You got your own theme song as well, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. I have been working on it. I'm gonna have a subsidiary video series, which is gonna be capture card stuff with me overlaid on the top. But still gonna carry on doing what I did when I started my channel, because if people don't like it, I don't care.
Well, that's
what I like.
Your
it's
channel.
what I like.
Your channel. And what do you think
like.
of the?
And also, by the way, the food thing I would like to say.
Yeah, go on then.
That started as a joke. Absolutely started as a joke. I did it a couple of years ago, like when I first started my channel, and people said, like, bring it back. And so I thought, all right, I can do that. So I started my Fat Friday series. And I'm very surprised that people watch it and like it. And so and also the thing, before I go back to Fat Friday, is if you start a YouTube channel, right, it's anything you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't be obsessed with, like, I need this, I need that, I need views. No, you don't. I mean, I'm not a massive channel by any means of the book.
It's a hobby.
I've always done what I've always thought would make me smile, and I have. And the fact that I have an audience for it is fantastic. So that's where Fat Friday came out, which is one day I just thought, when no offense, vegans, one of my vegan mates just said, "Don't try this burger, Dave. You just blast us all the time." Yeah. So I did, and I made a video, and you know what? It was alright.
Yeah.
And so then I followed up and followed up and followed up, and now I have a series called Fat Friday.
You have a lot of Marmite related videos. You got me.
Oh
once.
no, Marmite has a second playlist now.
You got me once to have a tablespoon of Marmite.
I remember that.
Didn't you?
Yeah, but you followed it up with fucking syrup, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I had to top you, because the thing is, you did a tablespoon of the extra strong stuff, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't have the extra strong stuff. Now, for people new to the channels here, I'm going back 5 years now. Must be.
Yeah.
And I did a response video to Dave, and I didn't have the extra strong Marmite, so I thought, how can I top that then? How can I follow that up? I can't. If I just do normal Marmite, it's gonna look like I'm a bit of a wuss.
I bought a jar of that yesterday. It goes to 17 quid now.
Oh God! And so what I did is I got a what was it? Was it Tesco value maple syrup?
Yeah.
And I did
this mad bastard, right? Did my Marmite challenge, which was a heaped teaspoon of Marmite, and then followed up with desserts.
Yeah, well, it was fun. It was
fun. It also wasn't that a great fun time? Do you remember when the Marmite challenge went around?
I did. Yeah, loads of people did it, didn't they?
Yeah, there was. But this is again something else that was, and YouTube seems to be drifting away from now.
No, they've been doing that for years. They're so interested in.
No, I don't mean that. I mean the way they're like. YouTube themselves are drilling down on people for like breaking rules and stuff like that. Yeah, like that was a fun time. You did it. Monkey Spies did it. Shocks did it.
Yeah.
Like Daniel Hyatt did it.
Did Gasset do it? Can't remember.
Yeah, he did. Oh yeah, he did that brilliant one. Where he did it with Nutella.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Oh God.
Yeah, but it was fun, wasn't it? It's fun. This is something we're trying to say to you people, which is, I don't know if you want to wind it up with this on your video. I'm sorry if I hijacked it, but the thing about YouTube is brilliant, right? You're never going to be big. You're never going to be famous. Maybe you will. Maybe you're star-studded, and obviously people aren't. But
you can put a lot of time and effort into it, that kind of thing.
It's fun, and never take that away from YouTube. It's fun, and you can have a laugh. And the Marmite challenge was a perfect example of just people just getting involved in a moment. It was just fun and brilliant.
It was very spontaneous, wasn't it?
And that was mine, sir. Can I say that?
It was.
That was mine.
You owned it. You own them. You are the king of the YouTube Marmiters.
And also, people, if you want to see every single Marmite product you can buy out loud right now in the world, go to my channel.
I think you've probably tried every single one, haven't you?
I did one last night.
I had the crackers a couple of weeks ago. Like
What do you think? I thought they were right.
I thought they were a bit bland. I was expecting them to taste more of Marmite, and ridiculously brittle as well. The moment you put a tiny bit of cheese on them, they shatter on the plate.
Well, sir, I think you should go to my channel and watch a couple of my Marmite challenges because they have upped their game since then.
Oh, good. I hope to.
They really have. I had last night, my last video. I had Marmite popcorn.
And, you see, no, I've seen that. No, I'm not sure. Not sure.
Oh, dude, it was so good. Out. So strong.
The jury's
and
out.
Lovely.
On that.
Anyway, the point we're trying to make is...
Yeah, we got sidetracked with Marmite here.
Yeah, sorry. We go back to gaming, but the point is, whatever you want to do with your video, it doesn't even have to be gaming. It could be anything else.
Follow your own, whatever you want to do. I think that's what you're trying
to say. And also, don't fear response. Never fear response. There'll always be dickheads out there. That's part and parcel of life. It's not just YouTube.
It's a brutal truth. It's a brutal truth. So let's bring it back to gaming then. So Spectrum, that was your
sir.
That was your 80s machine. So you went Sega that way, didn't you? You're a Spectrum to Sega person, I believe.
Yeah.
And was it the Mega Drive, the Master System first?
Master System. I remember, in the arcades just being absolutely blown away and loving all the sprite scalers. Just Outrun,
Afterburner, yeah.
Enduro Racer.
Space Harrier?
Yeah, obviously. I saw them and I played the cabinets and I was just absolutely blown away. And then out of nowhere, because to the rest of you people out there, the NES was nowhere in this country. It got no foot.
No, it didn't. It wasn't a European machine, was it?
But the Sega Master System argued that, at least I got a flyer. I must have been 12. I got a flyer out the back of a magazine, and it showed all the Sega Master System games. And I was just like, wow. Oh, my God. And it's funny, give it some relevance to show how old I am. I remember watching live at the time, not a rerun, an episode of Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
I think it was the Frog Brothers. Do you remember that one, the church?
Yeah, the Frog Legacy.
Yeah, when the roof is dripping.
Oh, that's the one where he thinks the Virgin Mary's crying.
Yeah.
That one, right, yeah.
And I sat there with this leaf, and I was saving up at the time. I was saving all my money because I had 3 jobs. I worked for my dad on Saturday. I worked for a pub on a Friday. I worked for a pub on a Sunday. So I had 3 part-time jobs. And I just remember staring at this pamphlet, just going Space Harrier. And we knew Space Harrier wasn't going to be arcade perfect, but in the pamphlet picture had the twin-headed dragon. Do you remember?
Yeah, that's the first level boss, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just looked at that, and then Outrun, and I just kept looking at it, and it was, I had a Spectrum at the time, and I saved, and it was like my goal, because I knew it wasn't going to be arcade perfect, but at the same time, my brain just wanted something closer to Sega in the arcades.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
And the Master System was that gateway, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they lied in the adverts. They totally lied, but it was fantastic. And then that Christmas, I with my 3 jobs, I saved a bunch of money up, and my mum said to me, which is, you got 100 quid, right? We'll pay the extra 70 quid. You have it for Christmas, because you proved to us that you could save and be yeah. And also, kids, do that. It's important that you understand the value of money.
Yes, indeed. Have a goal.
So we drove down Western, and we picked up this system secondhand. It came with a Wonder Boy, snail game maze was built into it. In Wonder Boy, it came with the card, because I had a card slot. It came with the card, but hang on. And,
the Sega card, yeah.
Yeah, and Afterburner. And we brought it home, and it was like a month before Christmas, and I'm such a cheeky fucking little bastard. Said, Mom, can I just make sure it works? Goes, I mean, come on, we spent all this money, half of it is yours, well, in fact, 3/4 of it is yours. Should make sure it works, shouldn't we? He goes, yeah, you probably should. So for one weekend before Christmas, before she took it away from me and my twin brother, my older brother, we sat there in my room with my colour TV, caning the shit out of my Master System. And it was fantastic, mate. It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And people say, like, but you got nothing for Christmas. My gran that year said, I heard you got one of those fancy new consoles or computers or typewriters. I don't know what they are. I'm old. Yeah, I got a Master System. She goes, I would like to buy you a game, but you can only have 25 quid. But Master System did those things where the Hue cards were cheap.
Yeah.
So she bought me My Hero.
Oh, yes.
On the card, which is balls horrifically hard. I did a gameplay against in the arcade a couple of months ago, and fuck me, that game's hard. I don't even know what I said when I was a kid. I probably said this, which is, oh my god, this game's so... I love you, Karen. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
That's good memories of the Master System then.
Yeah, but it was absolutely fantastic. I loved that Christmas. It was wonderful. And then a couple of months. Sorry, carry on.
So I was going to say, how long did the Master System love affair end? Should we say? How long did it go on for before its bigger brother came along?
I was obsessed with Sega, so you know, absolutely obsessed with Sega. It lasted for 8 months.
And then the Mega Drive was on the horizon.
And then I had more jobs. At that point, I worked Friday night in a pub, washing up, which is a slight side story, which was great because I was 15. And when I finished my shift, the people in the pub, because I used to walk to the pub, it was just down the road from my parents' house. I used to walk to the pub and walk back home. Yeah. They said like, oh, I don't give a fuck. He's 15. Give him a couple of pints. I used to walk home pissed out of my box.
The good old days.
Yeah, when drinking underage didn't count. But yeah, Friday night, Saturday morning in my dad's garage, which I've done a video on that, and I would like to say to everyone, some of the greatest times in my life was working for my dad in a Saturday morning in his garage. Fantastic. Driving cars around when you're 13. No driving license, just driving cars around. But then Sunday morning washing up, Sunday evening waiting on tables. So I was actually earning more money than my twin brother, who was in youth training at that point. He got £47 a week. I got 75 for a weekend.
Very busy man.
So but the reason was I was obsessed with the Mega Drive. I remember in the back of a computer and video games magazine in the middle pages, because Mean Machine, you remember this, Mean Machines didn't become a full magazine.
No.
Until a couple of years later. It was like a couple of pages in the middle.
Yeah.
And
it was a spin-off from CVG, wasn't it?
Yeah. They showed this little glimpse of majestic greatness in the middle. And like, wait, what? Sega of Japan? 16-bit Sega? Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
So I went batshit crazy and I saved all my money. I was the first person to have a Japanese Mega Drive in my school for 2 years.
I have seen the video you've done on that. Yeah, your imported Mega Drive, yes.
Yeah. I had it 2 years before it came out in the UK.
Yeah.
I was a fucking god, sir.
Was that 89, was it?
Early 88 when I got
it. Early 88, because it came out in Japan quite early, didn't it?
Came out late 89 in the UK.
Yeah, it did, yeah. Because it was mainstream in 1990 then.
And I loved it. It was worth every penny, because all my mates were like, Dave, what are you doing this weekend? Come football? I've got work. That's crap.
I had a friend like that. I had a friend who had a Super Famicom, like a year before the Super Nintendo came out, and
That's my next console.
he was, but he was like, he wouldn't go out. He was like, no, I'm playing the Famicom. And of course, at the time, I was so naive, and I still had the Amstrad and GX4000. That was my thing at the time. He was part of the reason why I got into Nintendo, and he was just he had all the like the import cartridges and all the Japanese games, and I had no idea what was going on. But when I first saw this the Japanese version of F-Zero, I was what? Wow,
Mind blowing, wasn't it?
and then a year later or so, when obviously the European version came out, I had to get one.
What you should have said when you sold the European version was like, ooh, you have to slow it back by 45%.
Yeah, it was. Well, it wasn't that much, but it was going slower. Yes, that's right. Yeah, but at the time, I didn't notice, of course, because
I still had a life. By the way, I still had a life. I still went down, downtown, and played football with my mates because this is like the 80s, kids. By the way, yeah, I spent my life buying that machine. What we have to remember is,
it was
every
balanced.
Saturday I still rode 3.5 miles down the road to play my local village at football.
Yeah, you
we did
balanced
that
it
then.
up. You balanced your gaming with your physical stuff.
Fucking wankers, because Dad refereed them and he was a cheating bastard. Never forgotten that. I've never forgotten that, James Mads. I know who you are.
Yeah, but you could always take your rage out on like a football game on the Mega Drive or something.
I actually practically almost broke my leg.
What?
One day, one weekend, when we were playing football, when we rode, bear this in mind, his dad drove them to the pitch. We all rode there on bikes because we thought, like, it's a friendly game of football.
Yeah.
We all went choppers in, studs up. They're little bastards.
Well, he won't be playing on your Mega Drive then.
No, absolutely not. True story. He actually said 2 days later, actually this is when we get the Super Famicom, when he imported one of those, he goes like, oh, Dave, Carlos, Ian, Jason, coming up to your house to play Super Famicom. So I heard you got Street Fighter 2, Japanese import. Cost me £75 in 1992.
Yeah.
He goes, can I come and play? I went, oh, let me think, James Mads. How about no? Fuck off. You almost broke my legs.
Well,
He whined for 2 weeks and I let him in.
you could have humiliated him on Street Fighter 2.
Dude, true story. You almost broke my legs.
I know. But you've never forgiven him, it sounds.
Ah, it's a funny, true story. I forgave him about five Christmases ago when he said, hey, Dave. We were at a pub at Christmas. Hey, Dave. How you doing? Hey, all right, Mads? How are you? I'm great. Can't drive a car. Got done with drink driving.
Oh my
Have fun
God.
with that. And then I walked off.
It's never eventfulness with you, is it? It's always something going on.
Always a story, sir. Always a story.
Always a story. Always an anecdote.
Anyway, back to the Mega Drive. Carry on.
You could be a brilliant after dinner speaker. So you then got the import Famicom. So you got your taste for the imports then.
I've always imported, sir, from day one. Always. My parents hated me for it because they always looked at me and just think, I like the fact that he's like earning money, and he's earning a lot of money, especially back then. Couldn't he spend it on something better?
Did you?
But it was always like,
Did you get an import PlayStation as well?
yeah, 450 quid
Oof.
in 1994.
That's a PlayStation 1 import.
Yeah.
Wow. I wouldn't have had anywhere near the idea to do that.
I had the bug, sir. Hey, you. Your fault. You infected me. I had the bug, sir. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't wait. I know it sounds stupid. I couldn't wait. I saw the magazines where they showed you what they could give you, and I'm like, I ain't waiting for that. And in hindsight, it was probably the better route to go, even though it's more expensive, because we didn't have to wait a couple of years for it to be optimized for PAL.
Yeah, it's true.
My Mega Drive was optimized, NTSC. True story. When I got my Mega Drive, and I went there earlier on today, checking out charity shops, and I walked by the shop and it's still there, and I put a picture on Facebook a couple of years ago. The shop where I bought my first RGB telly is still around.
Really? That's
in
good to know.
Nelsie,
That
in Bristol.
it's good to know.
I felt like going in and saying like, "Hey, by the way, sir, do you know you are the shop that I bought so I can import Mega Drive and a SNES?" And I just thought he'd look at me and just go like, "You're fucking."
But you've still got those consoles, haven't you? You said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say. I thought, my God. So you still got your imported Mega
By
Drive?
the way, the TV is still around. The 14-inch TV I bought to play my Mega Drive on, I gave to my friends when I left for Canada. Just like was giving away all my shit, gave it away because they weren't interested in TV and stuff like that because they had a young kid at the time. And they didn't want to bring up their kid on TV.
Yeah.
And I gave them the TV. When I came back from Canada, and then when I revisited them about a year ago, I couldn't believe that they still had the 14-inch Sharp portable that I gave. I didn't sell it to them. I gave it to them.
That's a real retro reference there.
And the funny thing is, on the top of it, it still has a sticker I took off an orange and stuck on the top because I thought it was funny. Because you know what that sticker said?
Jaffa.
King David. And they
You left
still
your
have
mark
it.
on it.
Yeah, they still have it. And the funny thing is, on the side, because before I went to even before I went to Canada, I took a soldering iron because there were like a bunch of thieves in my neck of the woods at the time. I took a soldering iron and wrote my postcode in the side by melting the plastic, and it's still on the side of it.
Yeah.
And I actually said, Mal, you still have this TV? Because we're not TV people. We're not. We pay the license.
It's amazing.
I did actually say to them, I can give you a reason not to pay the license, explain how you don't have to. But I said, we don't worry about that.
No, let's not.
Yeah, because I don't. But yeah, it still had. It was weird. It was weird after all those years looking at this beat up TV. It was almost impressive and almost made me cry, which was wow.
It's almost like being carbon dated.
Yeah, it's almost like fair play, Sharp. Fair play. You made a TV that's been knocking around for pushing 40 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Good effort. So let's jump forward now to and we'll finish up about your modern stuff. What do you like? I think you're an Xbox person, aren't you?
I am.
So are you interested in the new Xbox Series X?
I am. But,
you are. The mini fridge.
Yeah, but as I say to everyone, and also I saw Monkey Spat saying, I've bought one, I've pre-ordered another one.
And a PlayStation 5, yeah.
And he goes, you can have it if you want it, just pay full value. And I think it was but he actually said in the comment section, which is, wow, that's a new one for you, Spaz. You're selling a console after you bought it before you even sold it. Like, wow. Like,
I think I know who you're talking about, actually. I think I do know who you're talking about. But
sorry, I'm tired if you hear this.
No,
you know what I mean, but
I'm sorry. I'm keeping you up now, so.
Yeah, no, that's all right. But I do what I always do, and I do like the way they're going to do new Xbox, which is I don't buy a new console until at least 3 years in, because what's the point? What's the the levity of titles and stuff like that? There isn't any real reason to. Every year they say we're going to do this year. Yeah, but you don't, do you? You don't.
Mm.
And and I like the fact they said this year, which is we're going to do a tier system. It's going to be like PCs, which is you got an Xbox One, it's going to look like crap. You got an Xbox One X, it's going to look brilliant. You got an S, look fantastic. Got a Series X, it's going to look wonderful. But we're going to support them all, and I actually really like that approach. I really do. So I'm not upgrading. Yeah, basically. And also, looking what PlayStation just said about their backwards compatibility, all the people who say like, "Oh, Dave, you like Microsoft with your backwards compatibility? You're a fucking idiot." Yeah, not anymore, am I? Look at yours.
I'm a PlayStation person, as you know, but the thing is, I probably won't be delving into this next generation. I think I'm quite happy with PlayStation 4, and I got a Switch as well. So I honestly, I haven't been keeping up with it, so I don't know what news of what games are going to be touted for the new generation systems. So I'm a bit in the dark on that kind of thing. To be honest, I'm not.
The other thing about that, it's weird and it's true, and I don't want to sound like a a cliche, which is I got so much stuff going backwards, through the early days. That's honestly, I can live without modern consoles. I really can.
You can live without or with them.
Without.
Yeah. I mean,
totally live without. Cause
me too. I've got.
I can be two consoles. In fact, you never asked this. If you asked me the two systems that I could not be without, do you know what they would be?
Spectrum and the Mega Drive.
Good call, sir.
It's almost like I know you.
You just shut my entire speech down. No, but seriously.
Yeah, I would have thought, because you've spoken with so much love about both of them. I could have put in the Master System there as well.
You know what? Nah, Spectrum, Mega Drive.
Maybe.
And also before Mega Drive, Spectrum, because how much homebrew is coming out right now.
Yes. We're going to talk about the homebrew, because you mentioned some of the homebrew on the Amstrad, and what do you think of some of the homebrew on all the 8-bit classic micros?
I just would like to say a very massive thank you to everyone who's doing this.
Yes, bravo.
Because they're not dead systems. With me going through all my systems, and what I did was like obsessed with buying a new system and stuff like that. If someone like put a hand on my shoulder and just pulled me back slightly and just said, "You know that system Spectrum you loved? Yeah. Like there are 35 games coming out a year for it."
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. I love homebrew. I absolutely love homebrew. It's most of it, ironically, is Russian.
Well, it's funny that. I mean, we get with Amstrad, we get a lot of Spanish and French stuff, because obviously the machine was very popular there.
It's funny, isn't it, though, where it comes from, because it's all like different locales and stuff like that. Like, you look at the Spectrum, it's all Russian.
I think
like
the Russian thing is because there was a lot of Russian computer houses that made Spectrum clones. That's probably why.
And also, I think it's because they weren't allowed the systems, and I don't know if this works out the same way with, where your system went and stuff like that, but way back, because I know that I looked up a little bit of history, like in the 80s, they sent a really dodgy knockoff Spectrum to the Russians, and they said, what you can do with this? You're not going to do fuck all. And then that bedroom mentality comes in, which is, oh, is that right?
Yeah. Well, I think it was, like I said, I think it was cloned a lot, so therefore the Spectrum format became quite popular as a programming base. I think that's the reason why that happened. The same reason why the Amstrad, it sold very well in France and Spain, particularly France, and that's why a lot of homebrew stuff comes out of France now, which I'm very appreciated for. You go on average about 35 games for the Spectrum a year. 2 years ago, there were over 70 games released for the Amstrad homebrew.
Wow.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it?
It's brilliant, though. Isn't it brilliant?
Yep, keeps it going.
And I'll say this, sir, which I've jumped onto the radar too late, because I do kind of look out, which is I would really like GX4000.
Oh,
I know I can get the games.
I can sort you out with all the information and all the. I could get you up and running with a GX4000. And
well, I looked on eBay and my brain just went. Jaw hit the floor and just went. Wow.
Oh, you mean the little flash cart you can get, the multi carts, stuff like that?
I meant main unit. It was when I last looked. When I first started re-retro, here's something we didn't mention about my channel, where my channel actually came from, was I had a midlife crisis and I decided to recollect every single Japanese Mega Drive game I had as a kid.
You did, yes, I remember some of them videos talking about it, and
we possibly should have put this to the start of the video.
Well, I did ask you that question, but we got sidetracked with Marmite or something, didn't we?
My fault entirely, so I apologise. But when I looked at it then for prices for that system, they were like 35 quid. I look at it now and you're like, oh, that's like toaster rack price.
Yeah,
Because that is, and I'm not saying this to appease you, sir. That honestly, generally is a system I would like on my radar, but it's so expensive now.
To collect for the games, impossible. I wouldn't recommend that. But if you want the console itself, I can it's easily to furnish you with a way to play the games on the system. Put it that way. There are solutions. So that would be a nice way to end this on the GX4000. Thank you, Dave, for ending on my favourite console.
Well, in fact, let's end it in an even better way. Sir, if you can find me one under £100...
Oh, a GX4000? Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that for you. I'll get my fingers into a few pies for you.
Because then I'll go for the cartridge, with the firmware and stuff.
I love it. I love it. The podcast that was supposed to be about all the ZX Spectrum, which for a big degree it was, because a Spectrum proponent such as yourself, he finishes on the Amstrad GX4000. I love it.
And also, let's give a shout out to my boss.
Go on then. Who's your boss?
Because you know my boss, don't you?
No.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, yes, I think I know who you're talking about now. Who did this collection?
Yeah, dude, his collection makes yours look poor.
Yeah, I know, because I helped him out with bloody it as well. Yeah, I did the designs, some of the designs.
Lee, if you're listening to this,
yeah.
I would just like to say, now I'm going to say this because I'm in, sounds poor, in the arms of Chris, so he can back me up, but dude, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it was a lot of money, and because he posts.
You know the bloke, right?
Yes, he posts the his collection, and I honestly was sending him like designs for some of the cover sleeves as well that I'd done. But yeah, the fact that he got hold of, I was going to say, yeah, he's
true story about Lee.
Yeah.
His bird came up to me and just went, "That's a lot of money." And
he must have spent. I dread to think.
Yeah, I said to her, "I just opened the door and never gave him the keys."
I dread to think the amount of money he spent on that. I mean, I've spent quite a bit of money on mine, and I've never even come close to how he's managed to do that. But there we go.
No offense, Lee. We mean this with love.
We
mean this with love.
There you go. I just have other things that I have to spend money on, unfortunately. So, okay, you sound like you're about to die, probably of corona. So,
it's all right though. So I'm wearing a mask.
Oh, good. Well, that's all good because you can't transmit the stuff down the microphone to me. Good.
No, I look at the cartridge I sent you though.
Yes, that's true. I sent you an Amstrad. But anyway, let's not get into this dick waving contest.
Anyway, sir, I have to say thank you very much for having me on.
It's been an absolute pleasure, sir. It's been wonderful to talk to you, frankly, about the Spectrum and the lovely story. I mean, you have so many anecdotes. We could probably do 3 or 4 more of these episodes with your good self about some of your anecdotes about some of the other consoles you've had. We haven't had the time to talk about so much other stuff.
There's one more thing I have to ask you, though, sir.
Go on, then.
Is it true that I inspired your channel?
Yes. I've told you before. I have made videos on saying that your channel is one of the inspirations behind my
I wasn't
channel.
being a dickhead when I said that, by the way.
No, I'm not doing it to blow you or anything.
No, I just thought I thought I'd put that out there because I felt we missed it, but
No.
The reason I wanted to put it out there was my channel's garbage. It's absolute rubbish, but I'm amazed that like you, Monkey Spaz, and other people have said like you inspired me, and like why?
Yeah, in the early days, you know that, it's true. It's true.
That's not me fishing for points.
Yes. On that very, very, very buddly note, there, a very nice way to end, wasn't it?
I thought so.
I thought, yeah, very well done.
You can't see people right now, but we're hugging.
We are virtually, yes, indeed. Dave, Lawnboyspost, thank you very much for appearing on the Amscast.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. It's been an absolute joy and pleasure to talk to you, and I hope everyone out there enjoys it. There will be a link in the description box to Dave's channel. If you love your ZX Spectrums or your Marmite, of course, Go and check his very low tech but very funny videos. That's the way I'm going to describe you.
I like that.
So, thank you everyone for listening to the Amscast, and I will all see you all soon. Novabug and for Lawnboyspost1975 out.